wait for some people to come back on here, or get on here, I suppose. So for those of you that are rewatching, we might have a little bit of a pause moment here, I guess. Well, we wait. Because I don't want to get too much into stuff and then somebody show up and I'm halfway through a story or whatever. So, hopefully some people join, but today is Saturday the 11th. As you probably saw on the chat there, it's cold. You can see my breath. And we're in here in the Fix-It shed, I guess. The Fix-It garage, we'll call it. With the Diesel kind of just chilling out there in the background. Not much going on with him. Not a whole lot happening. We got a fire that we're trying to get started over here too. Yay, we have somebody. It's Cody. Hey Cody, how's it going? Not a whole lot going on here today. Other than for trying to get a fire started. I got the barrel stove over here. Over here down low, we're trying to get a fire going in that. Usually I fail at these, at trying to get a fire started, so I'll be surprised if it stays running. Oops. There we go, that's what I want. You're working today? What the heck, Cody? You're not supposed to work on a weekend. This is my gas, cardboard. That's all I got. I think it might have went out. I gotta check here. No, it's still burning. Let's see, take some of that off. It's always a trick trying to run this thing. But it's still going. Gravy overtime. Well, gravy overtime is fine. That's, nothing's too wrong with that, having easy overtime. I could have ran a plow truck myself at 4 o'clock this morning, but I decided not to volunteer yesterday, so nobody called me in, which is good. That means they didn't have any issues or didn't need a second person, which they shouldn't have needed anybody else because most of the schools got contracted rather than having us plow like they did last week. And I think we got too little of snow for the district to want to contract anything out, so they send us out with our little plow trucks and do the schools. Hey Tim, how's it going? We got 3 people on here now. Woo! 3 people helping us make a fire, I guess we'll say. It's melting the snow off that fell through the roof, which is a good thing. Maybe I'll turn it over here because I kind of got to focus on this for a minute. Let's see, how can I turn this? How does this thing tilt now? I don't know how to operate my own camera dealy here. Oh, here we go. That's how it works. That's how it works. Here we go. Ah, look at that. Maybe get us somewhere. All right, I'm going to move over here and watch my fire. And I guess try and get caught on fire too. It's burning. It's another log though. Try and keep an eye on you guys too. There we go. Burn, baby, burn. Oh, let's bring it closer so I can. There we go. So this way, if I miss a comment, I can tip it around here. Oh, let's do some more messing with the camera here a little bit. It's a little wobbly. My tripod is not the most stablest thing in the world with my big heavy phone on it. So, I'm caught on stuff and goodness gracious. Yes, it is. It is a very good day. I wish I could work on the Diesel, but I still don't have everything I want to do to work on it. I've got the Diesel's actually, if I flip the camera around, whoop, I almost had it. There he is, there he is, back there somewhere. He's waiting to get worked on. We're trying to get, oh no, I've lost it. Where's more cardboard? I want to work on it, but I can't necessarily because I want to get some Ziploc baggies to put parts and stuff in. So I've been kind of holding off. I've been tearing off stuff that's not going back in it, or back on it, I should say. Like the generator I've got on it, or that was on it. What else did I pull off of it? Oh, I pulled the steering shaft out of it, but I'm gonna have to put that back on because when we get 50 degrees here on, what is it, Wednesday? When we get 50 degrees on Wednesday, I'm gonna go through and I'm hoping, crossing fingers, that everything pans out. I'm gonna attempt to pull this back out. I could actually drive it out. It'll run still. It has no issues running. But I'm gonna attempt to get it back out of this garage and wash off the engine. Because if I take you, here, let's take the camera here and we'll flip the camera around. If you look at the engine, there it is. It's very greasy. This side, and if you can see up in the front there, and if we go flying, airplane, woo, you can see this side's even worse. I'd like to get a lot of that cleaned up before we start tearing things apart, because I don't really like the idea of pulling the head off of this thing, and I've got all that grease and crap falling down into my engine. So we'll hopefully get that pulled off of there, and or pulled out of here, and get some degreaser and stuff to wash that off, and I can take our pressure washer and wash it, hopefully, crossing fingers. And we have Mr. Icon. How's it going, buddy? Nice to see you made it. Let me check our fire again here. He's trying to die out once more. Oh, but he's going in the way back. Holy moly. I need more cardboard. More cardboard. I got 2 blocks of wood in there, but they're not wanting to start. I don't know why. Let's make sure we're not missing anything too. We take some cardboard. We get some, what do you want to call it? Junk food and stuff from somebody that's outdated and what have you. And the cardboard that we have left over, we use to start fires and stuff in the stove here. It's burning really good. Turn that down a bit. What is it doing back there? Oh, no, it's coming wrong way around. Wait. Somebody's not a fire starting expert here. It goes good. Are you keeping warming? Well, we're trying to keep warm. We sort of are. It's not too terribly bad out today. I think Dad said that they said it was 30-something degrees out, so it's not too terrible, but it's not wonderful to be outside. So I figured I'd come in here and start a fire and maybe monkey with the diesel a little bit here and there, and then he got a couple of pallets from one of the breweries we pick up beer mash from, and he wants me to pull some. It's kind of a homemade pallet, we'll call it, and I guess it's got some really heavy duty screws or something in it. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked at it real closely. But he wants me to take that thing apart, and I'm not sure what the heck we're going to use it for. He was talking about using some, I guess it's got some green treated 4x4s on it or something. He was talking about using as some small gate posts. I don't know what his plan is. He's got kind of goofy plans sometimes. Oh, look at that. We've got a spammer too. Wonderful. That's a first for here. Todd Schultz. I did not get a deer. I actually didn't get out this year for hunting. I missed the first weekend. Usually me and my uncle go the second weekend, but I didn't hear anything from him. And the second weekend I went out and got myself a puppy dog. So we've got a doggy on the farm. It's actually he's out in the pickup truck right now, sleeping. How much snow did you get? Looks like the heaviest was just south of Minneapolis. Yeah, they claimed, watching the news this morning, they claim MSP, Minneapolis St. Paul Airport, got, what was it, like 12 inches or something like that, so a foot of snow. I think it was something like that. I don't know, leave, what, a half inch? She will really burn. Yeah, well, yeah, that might be a good idea, because I think the vent is kind of blocked. I think I need to open the back up too. There's a little vent down here. Let me pull you guys off the tripod here once. Hopefully I don't poke a button. And there's a little vent down there, right there. You can see it's supposed to. That's supposed to be your air vent thingy, but I don't know if it's. I might have it kind of blocked because everything's right there in the front. So I'll try this once. But the logs aren't wanting to catch. I don't know why the logs don't want to catch. Maybe we'll just hold you. Nah, we'll put you back up on the tripod because it's easier that way. Okay. So back to the snow. I don't know how much snow we actually got. I suppose I could go. I think I do have a tape. Why don't we go measure it, huh? How about that? I have a tape measure on the MD still here. We'll go jab it in the snow and see what we got for a reading. If I can squeeze by. Get that close, we keep our heat in there. All right, pull that out. Now, we'll try and find a spot here. All right, let's turn the camera around. We can watch our live snow measuring tactics. Looks like 3.5 to me. Oh, we've lost everybody. So, yeah, there's not been a whole lot going on here, I guess. We've kind of just been putzing around. This is getting really hot over here. Let me try. Oh, that's hot. Oh, we lost everybody again. Oh, now we got 2 people. Welcome back. There we go. Mr. Icon is back. It keeps, I don't know if it's maybe my end that's showing fluctuation or maybe it's just, yeah, I figured such. I see, I don't know if it's, signal's not great out here, so it's kind of, screwy, especially when you get into a shed out this way. Once you get into a shed, it just kind of, it just goes way down the drain. So, which is weird because the cell phone tower isn't that far from here, so I don't know why we can't get a good signal out this way, but for some reason we can't get a good signal. So, yeah, doesn't make it super great for these live streams and such. It kind of makes it difficult to keep running, to keep them up and running. Yay, we're back. Okay, good. I'm glad we're back. Okay. Hopefully we stay alive there. So yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about, start asking questions. I don't mind answering whatever you got for me. Usually I have something to talk about, but I don't really have a whole lot to talk about today. It's kind of, not much has happened around here. We've been, you getting all your parts together for the Super M? No, because Mr. Kenny hasn't given me any direction in what he wants me to do. He hasn't, hey Hyatt, he hasn't said anything like what kind of kit I should order and, you know, the sizes and stuff for the Super M. I don't know what he wants me to order yet, so I'm kind of waiting on his direction for what he wants me to do. He does want me to come get the parts. He does want me to get some. I'll have to read Mr. Icon's comments there once I finish. It isn't family friendly. Whoa! Oh, we got some water boiling. There was a bit of snow that fell on the back of the pipe over there, and it's starting to boil off finally. It's getting pretty hot here. But he hasn't given me any direction in what he wants me to do, and I gotta go pick up. He's got the engine block. I know he said this in his video, but for those of you that don't watch his channel, he said he has my engine block ready for me to pick up. He has a flywheel ready for me to pick up. He has, did he say the crankshaft? I can't remember now what he said. But he's got some parts ready for me to come and pick up and get sort of cleaned up and whatnot, and have other places clean up. I gotta pull my hat off. I'm getting too hot in here. I'm actually gonna pull my jacket off. So, game plan for the Super M is basically just, I guess, Kenny's guidance. You know, I pretty much, so far in this point in time, if you guys watch Kenny's channel, what you know from the videos is what I know. He hasn't told me anything other than what basically I find out at the same point you guys find out. Half the time I find out after you guys find out, because I don't get around to watching his videos right away. I don't exactly have a whole lot of time for that. So far, game plan for the Super M is just, we gotta pick up our parts that need to be cleaned up and machined, and the flywheel that has to be on the M diesel here that's behind us. We had a machine shop that ground smooth the flywheel surface where the clutch disc meets the flywheel, and you know that's what drives your transmission. What happens is if the clutch slips, or if you let off the clutch real, if you kind of feather the clutch and you're slipping it, it'll heat up that flywheel. Well, then that flywheel will get heat cracks through it, and we have to go get that ground off, or get that ground down. And I've got a machine shop I'm gonna bring that to, down in where was that called? Is it Bloomington they call that? I don't know. I don't remember. So I gotta go bring that down and bring that to that machine shop and have them grind that down, because I was happy with the work they did with the M diesels. So we'll go there again. I would like to bring the engine block to my work, and we have a wash bay at our work. And what I'd like to do is, we have a very nice degreaser that I'd like to spray onto it, and then we have boilers at the shop there, and they boil our water very extremely hot. And I'd like to go kind of get some things, get that engine block kind of washed off, and sort of get it cleaned up in preparation for the machine shop, and then I'll take it to that shop and have bake it out and clean it out, and then, well, so they'll have the flywheel, they'll have the block, and if he's having me pick up the crankshaft, I might see if I can have that same shop grind the crankshaft down. But I don't know if Kenny's wanting me to pick up the crankshaft yet or not. I don't know if he's ready for that, if he's measured our our bearing sizes and what have you. That's kind of where we're at with the Super M. I mean, it's at a standstill because I haven't been able to get to Kenny's to get the parts to clean them up, and with Kenny working weekends now, which is my easiest time to get around to picking up the stuff, it makes it difficult for trying to pick up the stuff. I tried to get it, what would it have been, 2 weekends ago, and he wasn't around and able to, he wasn't able to have me come over and pick the stuff up. So we're kind of just waiting on schedules to match up right now, and it's been difficult. Last weekend I got called into work, so that didn't help. Well, I shouldn't say last weekend, last Sunday. I was out here Saturday, but then Sunday I got called into work. So that kind of goofed some stuff up, and this week was busy, this past week, so it just kind of waiting on schedules to match up and get kind of working and stuff. So, alrighty, Cody, see you later. Have fun shutting stuff down. So, yeah, everything's been kind of at a standstill here. The M diesel's been sitting in here. I need to pull that out and get that washed too, because I really don't feel comfortable pulling it apart all dirty like it is. I'd like to have it, I wish I would have thought to wash it down before the winter came here and stuff, and kind of goofed up that system. But we should be getting 50 degrees here on Wednesday, so that's a good sign. We can pull out the pressure washer and that we have out here and throw some degreaser on it and get that washed off, and then hopefully brought back in here, and we could start pulling things apart on that. So the diesel has been kind of just sitting in this shed here waiting for us to get around to it. So hopefully we can start that project soon, probably next weekend, hopefully, if I get it washed off. If I don't get it washed off, I don't know if I'm going to pull it apart this winter. I don't know. Like I say, I don't like the idea of pulling it apart with all that grease and oil and mud and whatever it is that's on the engine block and all that. I don't feel comfortable pulling it apart and getting all that stuff into it. My job, Mr. Hyatt, my job is coming along very good. I've really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It kind of sucks that you might get called in early or get called in to snowplow in the wintertime, but you know, it is what it is. The wintertime gets to be kind of goofy hours if you get thrown out on the plow in the plowing world, I guess you can call it, because a lot of the guys this week have been coming in at 4 or 5 o'clock. I think yesterday was actually the first day where everybody was in at the same time, at our regular starting time. There's a lot of equipment breakdowns. Some of the people that run the brooms for the schools, some people are not the nicest to the equipment, and they kind of get busted up. A lot of common problems like broken keyways and stuff. Some of this stuff is just kind of like, why does it do this? You hit a clump of grass and the broom gets clogged up. Apparently, if you hit the grass, it doesn't even have to suck it in. It just hits the grass and it snaps a key right off. It's kind of silly in my eyes, but for some reason it does that. We're kind of losing our fire here. I have to throw some stuff in. So the job is going pretty good. It's just kind of, some days are mundane, some days are pretty kind of fast paced, and you're doing a lot of running around and trying to keep everybody moving and alive and able to move snow. And it just, some days it takes a lot and some days it doesn't. It just kind of depends on what day you got. So it certainly is, I do enjoy it quite a bit. I enjoy it a lot. Might have lost it. Oh dear. Well, get one of these old cement bags out and toss that in too, and we might have to find my Kentucky Fried Chicken matches and get going again here. Yes, we still are using matches, and they are Kentucky Fried Chicken ones, KFC. Oh, never mind, it started itself again. Sweet. Throw a bit more cardboard. I don't know why this wood is not taking in it. It's kind of, I don't understand it, but whatever. So, yeah, projects are kind of slow. I would like to, if I could get this if this diesel doesn't happen this winter, did I miss a comment? No. If the diesel doesn't happen this winter, we have a Gale, I think it's like a 1300 or 1400 or something like that, skid steer that it has either a crack in the head or a bad head gasket. It's kind of got an interesting story to it. It caught on fire once on us a long time ago. Probably like when I was 10 or 11, and I'm 18 now, so, you know, what is that, 7-8 years? So it caught on fire. We went through, and what did we do to that? I think we kind of rebuilt the engine, kind of overhauled it, but for some reason, when we got it going again, we had bubbles in the antifreeze, which is obviously signs of something's cracked or bad head gasket. Kind of the same issue we've got going on with the diesel here. So it's been kind of sitting ever since. So if this diesel, if I don't end up getting to work on this, if I kind of choose not to work on it this winter because of the dirtiness, I may pull that Gale skid steer in here, see about getting that in here, and we might work on that instead this winter. That would be kind of an interesting project. We also would like to build. There's a couple of building projects we got on the kind of the auction block, I guess you'll call it. We'd like to build a new chicken coop and get some chickens out here again. So there may be some video on that. We'll see. What else? Oh, and we'd like to one of the old chicken coops that is out here that was actually it was an old ice fishing house. We'd like to kind of turn that into a shed because we're running out of sort of small engine space. So like for our lawnmower and stuff, and those couple of IH things that I picked up this winter, or this fall I should say, we're running out of space for them. So we may start working on turning that ice fishing house into a shed and then building a new chicken coop. Okay, I gotta say hi to Mr. Ryan Frederick. How are you? It's been a while since I've heard from you. Where you been, buddy? The Gale skid loader does not have a Wisconsin engine, and it is a 4-cylinder Ford engine. I believe it's a 4-cylinder. It should be a 4-cylinder. I don't know what the cubic inches on it. I don't really know a whole lot of specs on it. That was before I understood all this engine jumble stuff, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know an entirely lot on the Gale skid steer, but I know that it's got some issue with the engine that's allowing compression into the coolant. So I know for some reason in my head I remember us having a hard time getting parts for that. I don't know why that was. We had a lot of trouble getting parts for the stuff. Yes, it is a gas engine. It does run off of gasoline. But like I say, I don't know a whole lot of information on it. I don't know what kind of engine it is or what. I just know that it's a Ford. I believe it's a 4-cylinder and that it's gasoline. So it was a nice little runner. It was a nice little skid steer, but it just kind of for whatever reason it caught on fire, and I think we figured out that it was maybe that we had a wiring shortage out, and when we've had that when that happened, there was a bunch of grease and stuff built up on the bottom of the engine, and it just sparked out that oil and grease and whatever that was down there and kind of burned it away. It actually it got hot enough to blow out the 2 back tires, but it got two brand new tires on the back. And like I say, I know we had it running. We actually had driven it around and stuff, but I think what happened is it stalled out on us, and then we couldn't get it back going. Well, then we noticed that there was bubbles in the antifreeze. So, yeah, that's kind of the story on the Gale skid steer. Hopefully we can get it in here. I did want to work on the IH dump truck that we have here, but I haven't. Kind of wanted a nice space to work on it, and my space has been taken away by the 706. Dad decided he wanted to park the 706 where I wanted to put the IH dump truck, and that kind of screwed that up. So I don't know if we'll get the IH dump truck this winter or not. I'm going to make a video on that here one of these days. I just haven't gotten around to filming it. It's kind of an interesting concept. I think you guys will like it when we get it out, but I'm not going to tell you anything about it until we get to that. Mr. Marty he's spending his winter months in the machine shed. I actually, back in the spring there when we got Mr. Marty, I showed the video of us cleaning out that spot in the machine shed on the very left side. If you're looking at the front of it, it's on the very left side, next to the corn crib that's on the side of the machine shed. There's that old Ford car. I think it's a 56 if I remember right. I think it's a custom line, but I'm not sure what it is. But he's parked in there this winter. He has no governor on him currently. And what I kind of discovered with Marty's governor is that he's got kind of the same issue that Cushing had. For some reason, at some point in time, you've got your governor housing, and there's a bearing on the front of the governor housing, and then your gear would be out here and goes into the front cover and meshes with the gears on the front of the engine. Well, for some reason that bearing spun in the housing, and it either wore out the bearing or it wore out the housing. And so what can happen is the shaft that runs long ways in the housing, it can slide forward and backwards. And I think that's why I couldn't keep it idled down. I think what would happen is that shaft would slide forward and then it would idle up and it would just sit there. It wasn't a whole lot that it would idle up. It didn't go full throttle like Cushing was. But it idled up and wouldn't stay idled down. So I don't know if I have to find a new, well, I'm going to have to find a new governor housing. I don't know if I'm going to reuse the parts that's in that, in Marty's governor, or what exactly I'm going to do. I'm not too sure yet what's going to happen, but it's at home, the governor is, or I should say it's inside. And it'll be getting rebuilt here eventually, whatever happens. You know, like I say, we have to at least get a governor housing for it. And I'm going to try throwing another log in here. I don't know why this just will not start. So we're going to have to get a new governor housing for it, and we may possibly just get a whole governor assembly and just kind of sort of, how do I want to put it, just take the new governor, stick it on, and be good to go kind of sort of thing. So we'll see what happens with that. Other than for that, he's pretty much, you know, ready for next summer, I guess. And I don't know what's gonna happen with Marty next summer, because since we should have the Super M back in for next summer, back in operation, whether we have something for Marty to do, I don't know, or we might. What I'd like to do is get an International Harvester 990 hay bine and put it on the back of Marty and cut hay with Marty. And then we can use the Super M to rake hay like we used to. The M Diesel can be our square baling tractor, as it always was. And if that kind of gives a thing, if the M Diesel doesn't get rebuilt this winter, or doesn't get, is it bearing spin 2? You know, I don't know if it's a common thing or not. Supposedly they're only splash lubricated, but there's also a line that comes from the right side of the engine and goes into the governor housing. So I don't know if that's got pressure going to it. I have a hard time believing that, but I don't know. I don't know if it's kind of weird, because talking to people, it kind of sounds like it's not a common thing, but you know, that's now 3 governors that we know that have done that. Why are they doing that? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So I don't, if that is the case, what is going on now? Oh, it's dripping from above. Oh, I see. If that is the case, we need to get somebody to start making brand new governor housings, like Steiner, that like they make a whole brand new cylinder head for the gas engines. We need to have them make governors too then, if that's a common issue, because it just seems odd that why these governors would be spinning bearings in the front of the housing, and especially since we'll have to have new governor housings made, especially if it affects our throttling ability, because if what's happening is that bearing pushes forward and then it throttles up, that's an issue. I mean, we want the tractor to idle down, of course. So that might be something we'll have to see that happens in the near future, if we gotta have like a tractor company like Bates Corporation maybe, or Steiner Tractor Parts or whatever, have somebody start making brand new governor housings if this kind of issue keeps happening. And we should also figure out why it keeps happening, figure out a way to solve this. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting that yours has done it, and I've got 2 that have spun a bearing in the front of that housing, and it can slide in and out. Because like I say, what I've heard is that there's supposed to be kind of a press fit into the into that housing. They shouldn't be able to just slide in and out like they have for me, and I would assume you too, Ryan. But yeah, and that's another thing too, is Cushing. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I know I made a post that we were going to sell him a while back there, like sometime mid, late, early fall, something like that, sometime in the fall. And we had him listed on Facebook Marketplace, and then Dad told me to pull it down and kind of give up on it. And so it's been sitting in the same spot it got parked after the Northern Threshing Show kind of ever since then. And it's frustrating because it's in my way, but I can't. He doesn't really want me to do anything with it, so I'm kind of in a conundrum with that. And I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't just at this point pull the head off of it and just figure out what's wrong with it and try and get it running. I don't know if it would probably. I would imagine it would sell better that way with it running. Which, I mean, it does run. It just puts coolant in the oil. So it's got an issue, but it does run. That's how I got it to the threshing show, is I started it up and drove it on the trailer, and then I started it up and drove it back down. Batch of governor housings, then you can make a few bucks on the side selling houses. Yeah, that would be certainly a way to go. I don't know of any local foundries though. I don't know of any places that's do any casting or anything like that. I'd have to do a little bit of searching, I would assume, but that certainly would be a thing, especially if, I suppose if there was a kind of a major need for it, like people were wanting to, a lot of people were having the same issue, that would be something that should be done, is have some new housings made and sell them. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that kind of regards. Let me stuff some more cardboard in here, since it seems to be a cardboard fire rather than a wood fire. And there he goes. I'm gonna close that up now. Alrighty. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed out about this M diesel not being able to get that going yet. I'd like to be tearing that apart right now, but like I say, with all that grease and stuff, I just really would like to get it going again. I really like this M diesel a lot. He's a great tractor for the square baler, because the throttle doesn't fluctuate so much. It keeps the injection pump helps keep the throttle very steady. If I put Marty on it, which is what would happen if the M diesel doesn't get fixed this winter. If I put Marty on it, that the governor and the gassers are not as strict, I guess I'll say, as the diesel injection pump, and it kind of is able to fluctuate quite a bit, and it's kind of frustrating, because we like to keep our baler, we like to run our square baler at sort of a lower throttle, so it's not punching so hard. And if you try to do that, it would be different if we were just running it at wide open throttle. If we could just pull the throttle back, let it run wide open, it would be a different story, because I think it would hold better. But since we kind of try to keep it at a lower RPM, you don't want it to get too low, but you're trying to keep it from going too fast, and it's just kind of, it's hard to keep it steady, because you're kind of having to be the governor almost, and it's just really annoying, I found. So I really hope I can get this thing going. Enjoyed your video of the Albany Tractor Show. What did you think of all the Farmall tractors that were there? I was amazed, basically, kind of, at the amount of red that was out there. I kind of jealous of a lot of the stuff that was out there. I'd really like to have one of those 88 Series Internationals, the last series that International made. I'd really like to have one of them. It was pretty neat to see. There was that combine that Case IH did in the old International Harvester colors and with an old you know, kind of do it in the old IH styling. I thought that was pretty neat. I've seen them on, you know, social media and stuff, but I've never seen one in person until then. That was very cool to see. That was pretty neat to see that in action. Or I shouldn't say in action, but in person, I guess. And there was quite a bit of stuff that I've never seen before in person that was at that show, like that self-propelled square baler, which, whoa, granted it wasn't that wasn't an International Harvester thing, but it was something I've never seen before. That just is kind of cool to see stuff like that you've never seen ever before. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was it's the best way I can put it. It was a lot of fun to be able to see see all those tractors and see stuff you've never seen before, and kind of get to just kind of be able to enjoy the show. Well, thanks, Icon. I'm glad you guys liked it. I kind of felt bad for not getting a whole lot. Kind of same with the Nowthen threshing show. I know Rolog I got plenty of footage, to 3 parts worth that were each half an hour long, but I felt bad for not filming a whole lot at the Nowthen threshing show, but I just kind of wanted to. I was talking to Kenny about it, and like I told him, I basically just wanted to be at the show. Having missed it last year, it was kind of nice to be able to just be at the show and just kind of enjoy the show and you know, enjoy it from the having missed the previous year. Kind of got sidetracked there with the comment. Yeah, I know there's a couple of 88 series that I've been keeping my eye on Facebook Marketplace. I try to look, but the problem is because they're kind of that. They seem to be in that range where they haven't lost a lot of value yet. Like they're still quite valuable to the farming community, I guess you could say. So it's kind of it's hard for me to convince Dad into putting $40,000 into a 40-year-old tractor. It's already a 40-year-old tractor, so it's sort of a wonky situation, I guess you could say. But we need something that's got 4-wheel drive and that has a load or two on it, because with all the low ground that we deal with, it's hard to keep moving with the 2-wheel drive tractors. The 2-wheel drive tractors don't run through the soft ground that we have to deal with as well as, say a 4-wheel drive would. And maybe that's just a false sense of security, thinking that the 4-wheel drive does better than the 2-wheel drive. But I think we would have better luck if we had a 4-wheel drive tractor. I don't know. That's just my thought. The other thing too is we could use the smaller ones and kind of try and farm the wetter ground. Glad I got enough of the pre-1930 stuff. I tried to get everything kind of. I tried to. I gotta move over. It's getting hot again here. I tried to get enough of it to sort of show. I gotta tip this up too. My neck is hurting from trying to look down. I tried to get this enough of the sort of everything, I guess you could say, to just basically show what the show was. I mean, there was a huge turnout to stuff of everything, and I wish I could have got more on film, but I didn't want to run it too long. I mean, we were already half an hour with one video. I didn't want to. Granted, I didn't know how long the Rolog one was, but I didn't want to have another Rolog where I got, an hour and a half worth of footage for you guys to have to sit and watch through. It kind of gets to be boring after a little while. And I noticed that with the Rolog videos that as you got down the series, down the parts, there was less and less views, which is fine. I mean, I'm not doing this for views. I'm doing this for the fun of it, because it's fun to put out. Yeah, you can leave a link icon. I don't mind. I can't promise that anything will come out of it. I don't know if I'll get it, if anything will happen with it, but you could leave a link. It's, maybe someday I can get around to doing that sort of thing. I think you have my email, don't you? You should be able to, you could email that to me, because I don't think YouTube likes links in the comments section or live chats or anything like that. So if you don't, it's in my about section on the channel here. I'd say it out loud, but it's easier for you to just go look at the about section, and you can copy and paste it, and so forth and so on. But man, that thing's really smoldering away. What the heck is? Oh, it's all that keeps dripping water on it. That's why it's melting all the snow off the roof. Maybe that's my issue. I got too much heat blowing through the back end here. Let's see now. Keep trying to keep my fire going here so I can maybe play with the MD solo. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. IH round baler worth buying? Yes and no. I'm leery of getting one of those, what are they, the 2400 and possibly, and I think it's like the 4200 or something like that. I can't remember now. That sort of resembles the Gale baler in a way. I never did. I'm kind of leery on them because there's been a lot of sort of bad talk, I guess we'll say, on them. And I know, it's kind of the same thing with the International Harvester square balers. Everybody disses them, but half the people still use them. I mean, it depends on what you get, what baler you get. This baler could be bad, but that one's good, kind of sort of thing. But I'm kind of leery of the 2400s, and a lot of them, there's International did a single spring and a double spring on the baler, and that's kind of your tension that keeps the bale tight. And I've heard that you want to get the dual spring so that it kind of holds the bale tighter. And so far, all the ones that I've seen on Marketplace have been single springs. But I did find, and I don't know if it's sold yet or not, but there was a International Harvester baler, must have been on the very, very tail end of IHC, that looks basically identical to what the Case International balers were, the Case IH balers were right after the buyout, the 1985 and 1986 kind of those Case International Harvester balers. But it wasn't a Case IH 241. That's the number I'm thinking of. It was 241, and then it was the 2400. Because the 241 was the predecessor to the 2400, I believe, and they talk a lot about them having single springs in them. I don't understand what the problem is with the single spring. If it's just that it doesn't keep the bale as tight or what. I can't figure out. That might be what it... No, it's not one of the small ones. It's not one of those little ones that look real goofy and are kind of like the baler itself is only like 4 foot tall. It looks like. It's not one of those small ones. It's actually a big, full-size... I mean, it kind of looks like the... It almost looks like the Vermeer baler, but it's got sort of that different styling. But it's kind of... It's not one of those real dinky little ones. It's actually a big, full-size round baler, and it looks just like the Case IH ones, but it's International Harvester labeled. Now I don't know if somebody maybe just, you know, wanting a good International Harvester baler, ripped the Case International decals off and put IH ones on. I don't know, and I don't even know if it's still on Facebook Marketplace anymore or not. But I basically, the moral of the story is I haven't gotten an International Harvester round baler yet or anything. And whether I do anytime soon or not will be, you know, kind of another question. It's hard to go out and buy stuff with that truck payment, and now I've got a dog, so the dog takes a bunch of money, and it's kind of I backed myself into a corner of not being able to get stuff for the farm, and it's annoying, but it is what it is. I'd rather have a truck than an International Harvester round baler. I can always go get an International round baler at some point in time, and the vehicle I was driving before my pickup truck, that was kind of a how long was that gonna last kind of sort of thing. So the truck was more important than the round baler was. Burning pretty nice in there. I think we might change up our scenery a bit here. I'll move my chair around here, and we'll take a look at the we'll look at the M diesel rather than the fire. I think our fire is doing pretty okay now. And then I can tip this up. There we go. Now you guys can look at that. But yeah, so the 241 2400s I've heard are bad, and I'm still kind of looking for an IH square baler. I'd like to. We've got a 47 parts baler, so I'd like to get another 47 International Harvester square baler to kind of replace our John Deere 24T with. There's nothing wrong with the John Deere square baler. I just don't like it. I've never been a fan of the John Deere baler. I've never been a fan of the 24T, and it's contrary to everybody else's opinion. Everybody else in the farming world seems to love those balers, the 24T series, but I've never liked it. I've never thought it was a good baler. It doesn't pick up hay very well. It doesn't shuffle it into the chamber very well, and it just seems to have a million knotting issues. And I know the IHs are kind of prone to knotting issues too, but I'd like to at least give one a try. So I'm hopefully someday I can find one to run with the Mr. M diesel here. But whether I do or not, there'll be a question, and when it will. I believe it's an issue with tensioning the bale. We never messed around with ours too much because it was free and was pretty rough. Yeah, that's kind of what my understanding is with those single spring ones, is that it's just a tensioning deal. Everybody likes a double spring because it keeps the bale tighter. The International would likely be a spare for us. I don't think it would be getting run behind anything or not. I don't know. Maybe if we got a 656 diesel, it would be a different story. Me and Dad could double bale, but more than likely it would be a spare baler. And that Gale bale, I actually did kind of get it going, but it decided to blow a hydraulic hose on for the gate. So the gate would, when you went to open the gate, it just spewed hydraulic fluid everywhere. And that was another issue we had too, is that the Gale bale, it doesn't have a way to lock the door closed. So the door, what would happen is if we didn't have good, if your tractor doesn't have good hydraulic pressure holding the door down like ours, our 806s are not the greatest for don't have the greatest hydraulic pressure in them. What would happen is, as you're making the bale, the door would slowly open up, and eventually, you're dumping the hay out on the ground rather than baling it up. So that's an issue we got to fix, and I don't know if that maybe had something to do with the broken hose. That it could, that was sort of the I don't know if you want to call it sort of the clue that the hose was gonna blow. It could be, it could not be, I don't know. But so we got to fix that and kind of get that fixed up still. But it is baling. It has baled a couple bales. There's a couple of them around here on the farm that were baled by the gale bale, but it just doesn't do a good job. It's kind of got the same issue that the single spring IH round balers have. It doesn't keep a bale tight at all. It's kind of a loose, spongy bale, and it just kind of it just doesn't do a very good job. Yeah, I suppose, but there's something about the John Deere baler that it just doesn't. I don't know if it's just. I think part of the problem is the hay compressor that sits on top of the pickup. It's got a bar that runs above kind of the top of the pickup, and then the teeth just run straight out from that. And I've seen on, I think it's some of the Internationals, and I think some of the John Deeres have too, where the bars kind of bend down and then come down around the pickup and come back up. I've seen they kind of do some sort of funky thing like that. I don't know if it's just if that's would do us any better, because we tried to make a better bale compressor by putting that white little barrel on the front. But the problem with that is if you hit any heavy hay, it just shoves the barrel off the end of the off our. We flipped two of the compression bars to go the opposite direction, and then took some wire and just kind of tied it onto those. Well, what happens is if you get too much hay, it just shoves the thing right off the two compression fingers, and then you gotta stop and pick it back up and tie it back on, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass. So it's you know, I get it, every old baler kind of sucks, but I just kind of, me and sort of my IH phenomenon that I have, my enthusiasm for them, I would rather have an International baler than the John Deere one. I just kind of would like to see how one works, you know. Especially since everybody hates them so much, I would just love to see why, you know, at least why everybody hates them. I know that it's the knotters that everybody hates, but it seems like the reason everybody hates the knotters is kind of silly, because it sounds like it's just mainly that they get out of adjustment. So it sounds like it's kind of more operator problem than it is machine problem, but whatever, it is what it is. I did miss a comment. How cold is it up here? It is 30 some odd degrees. That's why I got the barrel stove going, which hopefully is still going. I'm gonna read. I got a comment here when I take a look back. It's doing okay. Yeah, we'll leave it go. Oops. Not tying first crop. Took a couple days of going through the knotters and changing out one knife to get it to stop missing, so it can be done. Yeah, and that's just it. It sounds like it's mainly the problem with the International balers is that the operators don't know how to keep them in operating condition, and so then the knotters get worn out and out of spec and what have you, and they fail. They don't make a knot. And I think that's what the problem was with this one that we've got out that's been turned into basically a parts machine, because it's been sitting so long and stuff has been pulled off and what have you. I think what Dad's told me is that he had trouble with the knotters and could never get it to work right, and so he gave up on it, got sick and got frustrated and ditched the thing, and there it's sat ever since. So I think I've been keeping my eye out for a 47. The problem is I can't find one that's in decent shape for a good price, and I just, you know, again, the truck thing and the dog thing, it doesn't allow for a whole lot of extra money, and when we've got a baler that works as it is, there's kind of no reason to, oh, excuse me, there's no reason to go out and buy a square baler when we really don't need one. So, and I know Dad kind of doesn't want me to get a International Harvester square baler because of the troubles he had with that one out there. So it'll be we'll see what happens. The dairy farm I used to work at had a IH 430 back in the day. It never missed a bale, but the frame fell apart on it. Wow, it must have wore it out really bad or something. Jeez, I have never heard that before of a square baler falling apart because of the frame. But I suppose it could be done. But yeah, I've never heard that. I've heard good things about the 430 series. I've heard those were good balers. Maybe a few knotting troubles, but I've seen a lot more of those running than I do like these 47s and 37s and what is it, the 45 and 46, and there's a couple other numbers that they all kind of look similar. They seem to be the ones that get reaped on more than say the 430s and 440s, and I think they made a 440. I don't know, but I've heard they're kind of better balers, those later ones, than the earlier ones. There's that beautiful 47 baler on tractor house in Upper Wisconsin. It's been for 3 years now. Yeah, it probably doesn't look super great anymore. It'd be interesting, but there's a few on Marketplace. There's one that there's one I saved that's kind of on the cheaper end, but it looks like it's sat in the shed for 100 years, kind of sort of thing. It's like halfway in the dirt, and it doesn't look like it'd be much more than a parts machine, but it might be something where you could take two to get into one, kind of make two into one baler. You know, we've got that 47, get this one that's been sitting, and turn them, kind of combine them together and turn them into two good balers. I don't know if that would be a possibility or not, but I try to keep my eye out, but I'm really not avidly looking because, like I say, I have no real reason to go out and get one. So that's kind of the story on the square and round balers. There just hasn't been a reason to get one, and hasn't been the funds available to get one yet. But someday we'll have a IH round baler and an IH square baler and an IH haybine. Haybine might be this summer, hopefully. Whether it is or not, I don't know, but hopefully it's this summer, because I need something to put behind Marty. They weren't easy on equipment, still aren't. They have an IH 1026 with a loader that split the front axle because he dropped it in a hole in the cow yard. I've heard of that happening. I've heard of people busting spindles off and breaking their wide fronts because they drop into a gopher hole or a sinkhole, or kind of, I've heard them called tiger traps before. I think that's what you call them, kind of holes that are out in the field that aren't supposed to be there, sort of thing. I've seen that be a pretty common thing on like Facebook and that, where they bust up the front end because they accidentally dropped it into a hole or something, and they had a loader on it or whatever. They don't take too much to fix. The parts are a pain to find at times. I've heard that. I've heard that parts are hard. There's a guy on Facebook. They call him, I think he's called the IH Baler Man on Facebook. And I know you don't use Facebook, but I believe I don't know if he has parts or he knows where to get parts, kind of sort of thing, but there's another guy, he's called Roy's Red Iron. I've heard he sells like new old stock International Harvester parts. He might be someplace that one could go to too, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a goal for me to one day get an International square baler and round baler. I just don't know when that'll be, and kind of it's just all thrown in the air. When's it gonna happen, sort of thing? Because life comes first before machinery does, sort of thing. So that's kind of been the, oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm yawning now on you guys, but yeah, that's kind of just been the issue. Is I haven't been able to put forth the the money to get the stuff I want out here. He seems like it. I probably would go to him for a few things, especially this M diesel, because I know the parts for these M diesels are so hard to find. And Bates Corporation. Okay, do you know, is it a 9-foot or a 7-foot? Because I know they made the 990 and a 9N7. I do know we've got a John Deere 1209 haybine that we ran behind the Super M, and then when we got the 806, that was kind of on the round baler, but then we still use the Super M and the, okay, it is a 9-foot. We still use the Super M and the haybine in the 1209, but the 1209 started to have issues with its wobble box. What happened is what end was it? The shaft that the wobble box is driven by a belt, and there's a pulley and a shaft. Well, what happened is the shaft was supposed to have, how did that work now? The shaft is tapered, but it's also got, I think it's also supposed to have keyways on it or something, or splines, or it's really goofy how John Deere has it set up. But what happened is the belt pulley that goes onto the shaft that goes into the wobble box, the pulley and the shaft both got stripped out, and so the sickle cutter that cuts the grass would quit moving back and forth. So that we ditched that, and then we got that coon cutter that we have now that we run behind the 806. But I would really like to get a haybine again so I can go out and cut with Marty and stuff. And there's a field we used to cut. It's actually in one of the square baling videos. We used to cut it, and then Dad got kind of upset with the landowners, and we abandoned that field. But I would like to go back there and kind of start cutting it. I gotta check on my fire. It's getting really cold in here. Well, I shouldn't say really cold, but it's starting to get cold in here again. I'll tip you guys that way. You're kind of falling off here too. Hold on, oh, I know what's wrong. I left that thing down. There we go. Move that. There, now you're nice and steady on the tripod. Okay, hold on. Have you ever been to Balers Tractor Salvage and walked through their property? That would make for a great video. I have not. We might be going there, though. I've got a friend that wants to get, he has a Farmall 400, and he's been having some, he's got a Balin power steering unit on it, and he's been having some trouble with his power steering unit. I guess the housing, the drive housing that goes on in the middle of the steering shaft, I guess it has the housing cracked apart and it's leaking hydraulic oil everywhere. So he's trying to find a new one, and I've got there's a guy I like to use down in Henderson, Minnesota. He has a lot of International Harvester parts, and I've been trying to have him find me one and his parts stuff, but he hasn't yet been able to find one, but he's positive he's got one. So I've been kind of waiting on him before we go to resort to using Balers salvage. So we'll see what happens with that. This thing's got to get cleaned out really badly. It's got a lot of soot and stuff in it from previous years. Oh, where's my little pocket knife here? My little, they call it the clever cutter. Dad gets these from work. They work half decent, but they're not the wonderfulest. There we go. Stick some more burning material in. Actually, that was a dumb way to fold that. There we go. That's good. Toss that in and toss that in. Close her up. There we go. All right, we're back to. I'm gonna come back to this now that I got some heat going again. Now you guys are tipped sideways. This thing's tripod. Oops, that's the wrong way. Is it the wrong way? No, that's not the wrong way. That is the right way. Here we go. Okay. There. Oop. I think you're level. Are you level? There we go. Something like that. Let's see what we missed in the comment section. Nothing. So yeah, we might be going to Balers. I don't know if we will or not. We'll see what happens. if my Henderson guy can find the part or not. Otherwise, we gotta go down to Bewers and find her part out there. What the heck is going on out there? Oh, nothing. I see something moving outside. We got a couple calves that like to get loose, so you see something moving on the outside and you kind of wonder what's going on and wonder if it's a cow out or calf out or whatever it might be. But yeah, we might be going to Bewers at some point in time. We'll be getting some parts for Marty then too. I need to get him a swinging drawbar piece. You can see on the M diesel here. Maybe you can't. There he is. Right there. Oop, 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 oop. There it is. Right there. That piece there is what's the swinging part on the drawbar. I need one of those because I'm sick and tired of the triangle plate I have that's on Marty right now. It's really irritating. The bolts keep working loose on it, and it's just really spongy. It doesn't. I'm kind of worried that it's going to break the drawbar off. So I'd like to get it one of the swinging parts there. Kind of take some pressure off of the actual U shape, the U drawbar piece, the solid bit. So I need to. I haven't been successful in finding one at the shows I've been going to. So we hopefully, if I know Kyle is his name in Henderson, I know Kyle will probably likely have one. But if he doesn't have that power steering pump, I'll just find one at Bewers. But we can make a video of Bewers if you guys would like that. If there's interest for that, which it sounds like there is. What else? Anything else? We've been going at this for what? Hour and 13 minutes it looks like. Maybe we've done all we need to do for the day. For talking points. I'm gonna have to get the oh. Yeah, I don't know. Whoops. No, hold on. Stop it, YouTube. I probably wouldn't need the roller, but because I've got, I think Kenny, let's see, did Kenny give me a spare strap? Kenny gave me the old drawbar from his H and the strap that was with that. And then I think he gave me a roller too. I think he had somehow gotten an extra roller, and he gave me that too, I think. I'm trying to remember now. There must be, and I think there's one more strap too, if I remember right. I'm trying to think off memory because it's over in the machine shed. It's over with Marty. But yeah, I'm kind of crossing my fingers that Marty's got sort of an interesting design. He's got since he's a 1940, he's got a few. The design on the drawbar looks like it's a little bit different, and I don't know if it might just be this one piece, but on the bottom they've got that triangle part, I guess we'll call it, that bolts to the belly of the tractor. On Marty, on like the M diesel here and sort of the later models, International just put a plate that holds that pin in place underneath. Well, on Marty, you actually have to pull the whole triangle piece down because the pin has got a flange on top, so the pin only comes out from the top. So you have to pull the whole triangle piece down. Then you can pull the pin out, slide the drawbar piece in, and then put the pin back in and bolt the triangle back up. So I'm hoping that it's not different. No, I don't need a drawbar for an H. I've actually got an extra one for an H, but I just need the one for Marty because Marty just has that triangle plate that sticks off the end. It's actually, I think, for mounting implements on. I think that's what they were used for because I see that IH 221 balanced head sickle cutter that I've got. It's supposed to have those triangle plates that hold the bracketry that they've got going on. It's supposed to be that kind of, have that kind of sort of setup. It's interesting how they did that. But no, I don't. Both of our H's have drawbars, and I've got a spare one that Kenny gave to me. So everything's okay with the H's. It's just the M's that are, but it's really only Marty. Marty is the only one that I need one for, because the Super M's is fine, and so is the M Diesels. The M Diesels has actually been, I don't know if you can tell in the background there, but the M Diesels has actually been beefed up a little bit. What's Ben? That can't be that far from me. Okay. Will that fit on an M? Because that was something I wasn't sure of, because there was one down at the Le Sueur swap meet down south there. Somebody had a 400, 450 drawbar, the swinger part, and I wasn't sure if it would fit on Marty or not. So I didn't get it. I left that behind. Which, now knowing what I do now, I kind of wish I would have got it, because I think they do. I think they will fit on an M, if I'm not mistaken. Southeast Wisconsin, that might be further than I'm thinking it would be. It might be further from me than I think. Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's not a whole lot going on around here. I need to get that International Harvester snowblower I've got going. I need to get that going so I can plow out some paths here for walking the dog. Because I gotta shovel them right now. Of course, it doesn't matter right now, because we're gonna get 50-degree heat on Wednesday, so all this snow will be gone. All this snow will be gone. My fire went out, I think. Oh no. How hot is it there, Hyatt? How hot is it in Florida? Okay, we'll fit an M&SM. Okay. I wasn't sure, so I was, that's why I abandoned it. Here's my little poker stick. Here we go. Little poker stick. Need to move some stuff around in the old furnace here. Woo! That got it going. There's a big chunk of cardboard in there that hadn't burned yet. Alright, let me get back to the 75 and sunny. That sounds nice. I could go for some 70-degree weather. I know winter hasn't started yet, but I'm already, well, it kind of has, but it's hardly started. There we go. That's a better way of putting it. I know it's hardly started, but I'm ready for summer already. I want it back. I'm sick of this cold. I'm sick of this snow. Well, the snow I don't mind so much. You can go snowmobiling and sledding with the snow, so I don't mind the snow so much, but the cold can go away. The cold can leave. I'm gonna have to have lunch. What time is it? Anybody got a time from up here? I don't get to see a clock. I have no clock in here, and I can't see it on my phone. I don't even know what time we're at now. It's got to be later. What did we start this thing at? 1:20? Is that what time we started it at? 1:20, something like that. I think it was. We've been going for an hour. It must be what? 2 o'clock? Almost 2:30. No, 2:40 it would be. I think. $2.40 and I haven't hardly done a thing out here. How far do I live from Squatch? I'm about 2 hours away from him, roughly. Maybe it's more like 2.5, something like that. He's further up north. 341 in India. 240. Okay, that's what I figured. It was around 240. That's what I figured. It's gonna be dark here in an hour. I'm ready for that to go away too. I'm sick of these short days where it's dark at 5 o'clock. You gotta wear a headlamp half the day. Sucks. That's annoying. It's very annoying, that the darkness stuff. But soon it'll be gone. Soon enough. We're already almost to Christmas, actually, even. That reminds me, I gotta make our Christmas video too. We usually do at the end. I don't know if it'll be like how we've normally done it though. It might be a little different this year. I haven't decided yet. I haven't even thought about what I'm gonna do for it yet, but I've been kind of thinking I might change it out a bit. Uh-oh, I hear footsteps.
You got a fire going?
Yeah, and a live stream. We're being bombarded here. Yeah, Squatch, he is a very fun guy to hang out with. He's nothing like what he's on camera. He's a lot different in person than on camera. Good, we have more fire starter here. Or I should say more fire, because our logs aren't burning at all.
A little smoky in here.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't notice it. Sneak by.
You got the fan on.
Because I've been sitting by it.
Blow it here.
Yeah, then it gets cold here. Icon says, "Hi, Connor's dad."
Hi.
He's gonna do a better job of getting the fire going than I do. I can't get one going hardly at the time.
No wood in there.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was, but it wasn't burning.
There's a log right here.
Two. Oh, Dave Lampert's here. Hi, Dave. How's it going? What do I want Santa to bring for Christmas? Parts for this. Parts for this thing behind me. So I don't have to pay for them. Well, actually, Dad gets to pay for them.
Worry about the Super M first.
Yeah. It's another thing. Maybe that. There we go. That's a better thing. Parts for the Super M.
Do we have an extension cord coming in?
Yeah, but it comes over here.
Oh, that's right, because we
Well, the orange one's plugged in. Yeah, you can unplug it. We're good here, Dave. How about... Oh, I already asked you. Because you said you're good. It plugs into the splitter there. The three-way.
She's like pretty bird Flintstone.
Oh my God. Getting fans figured out here. Well, Squatch, how do I put it? He is... How to explain it? I don't know. I don't know how to explain that how he's different in person, but he's kind of, he's a character, we'll say that. We'll put it that way. There's another chair over there if you want it.
I'm probably gonna go back and make a bucket.
Oh. What else do we got going on here? Get an old hair dryer to help start the fire. Icon says.
You make a blast furnace.
Yeah, it's, yeah. I think the problem is we just don't have good wood yet. We haven't gotten dry wood.
This is from last year. Right.
Well, yeah.
You just gotta kind of cut back on the ears so then you'll put more heat. It's kind of, yeah, you're getting, let's get it off there. The heat's gotta, there's one in here.
Don't we have a thermometer in here? Let's check our... Somewhere in here there's one. Used to be.
Did we steal it for the powdered milk?
Might be. Might have stolen it.
Top of the fridge in the kitchen of the house.
You can see the M diesel's getting warm. It's all wet. Let's see the water on them there.
I wonder where
I
that
must have
one
stole it. What's that?
went. The thermometer.
Oh, we probably put it in the farmhouse. Inside.
Yeah, it was sticking out of the, like right in here. You must have used it for the hot water. You
Yeah.
made that one cap.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it on the floor or anything.
No, I know there's one up there and
Yeah, I do too.
when you tried that powdered milk. Alright. Just want to get rid of some of that garbage.
No.
Cold air.
There he goes. Alright. Well, anything else anybody wants to talk about? I didn't think I missed anything yet. Everybody's saying hi to Dave. I just realized when I was asking for the time earlier, my thing tells me, it tells right on the comments when the comment was sent. I could have just looked at the comments to figure out what time it was. Whatever. Oh well. Boy, we're starting to ramp up again. We went from 4 people, and now we're all the way up to 13. Holy smokes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. What is going on with the MD? Well, not much. We're kind of... I haven't done a whole lot to it, and I'm... Here, I'll pull my phone back off the tripod here again so I don't have to carry the whole tripod around. I was showing a little bit earlier, but I'll show again. Because I know we've got some new people. The M Diesel is dirty. See all this dirt and stuff that's on them? I don't really want to pull the head, and actually, I want to show the other side too. The other side's even worse. I want to go through and wash it off before I pull the head off, because I'm worried that all that dirt and stuff is gonna get down inside of the engine, and I don't want that. The problem is, hold on, you're gonna be pointed down for a minute. Come on, you thing. My little phone holder is not the easiest to work with here. I don't want all that dirt to go down into the engine, so I need to wash it off. Well, the problem is we don't have the temperatures to wash it off right now, because of course we don't have a heated shop or anything. What would be ideal is if I could bring it to work and kind of wash it off, because we got that nice degreaser, and we have boilers at work that boil the water really hot. So the only thing is we want to have it washes off the grease really well and stuff. Sorry, we might have froze there for a moment. My phone's telling me I only got 20% battery left. I need to get a wall charger out here, because I don't have I can only charge it in the truck. We might have to go in the truck and continue on with our conversation here. But we at work we have a really good degreaser and a really good hot water. It's just that we don't have we don't have pressure. I mean, it's, garden hose pressure. It doesn't come out pressurized or anything. So, but it still takes grease off. So it would be nice if I could take this thing up there, but I don't really want to take advantage of the stuff we have at work. So I'm kind of leering away from that. So I might go get some Zep Purple Power and bring that out here, and then we will with our 50-degree temperature that we're gonna have here in, what is it, like 4 or 5 days on Wednesday. It's supposed to reach like 50s here. What would be nice is if I could pull this thing or drive this thing out or whatever ends up happening, get it outside and over to the kind of our washing area that we've sort of dedicated. Well, actually, I couldn't use the washing area because we shut the hydrant off on the back of the house. But it would be nice to pull this thing out and kind of spray some of that degreaser on it and then pressure wash it off. And granted, it wouldn't be hot water, but it would get a lot of that stuff off there, so we wouldn't have to worry about that getting put in the engine. Because of course, you don't want to have dirt in the engine or whatnot. So I got some comments to catch up to now. So that's kind of what's been going on with the M Diesel. It's just kind of been sitting in here. I've sort of pulled a few things apart, like the steering shaft is back there in the background, but of course that's gonna have to go back in. I did pull the generator off it, which is over there. It is right there over my shoulder. The generator is, and of course I pulled the hood and grill off of it. But yeah, it needs to be washed off before I start tearing anything off of the actual engine itself, because I just don't feel comfortable with all that grease on there and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna the DA 852 says hi and Merry Christmas. Hello and Merry Christmas back to you. I know I'm like totally butchering your name and I apologize, but hopefully you don't mind. Alright, we're caught up pretty much now. So yeah, that's M Diesel's just got to get washed off. Hopefully that happens this year. If not, might be next year. We might get pushed off to next year. And then Marty will get put on the square baler, and the Super M will be on the hay rake. Because we should have the Super M back this summer, which will be nice. That'll be very, it's nice to have all your horses back alive, kind of sort of thing. It's not a very good way of putting it, but it's nice to have all the horses in the stable again, sort of. I guess that's a better way of putting it. Not really, but whatever. So yeah, the Super M will probably get put on the hay rake again this year because it has the wide front, and we like the wide front for raking hay. And then if the M Diesel is going again this summer too, that'll be on the square baler, and Marty will probably get itself a hay bind. I'll probably try and find him a hay bind, and we can we'll put a hay bind on the back of Marty and cut hay with him, and bale with this, rake with the Super M, bale with an 806. We'll cut with an 806 too. Hopefully that one we've been having troubles with, Dad was talking about sending that off to there's a guy here locally that rents a shed out of a kind of the big farm that's around here. There's one really big farm here. It's got quite a few pole shed buildings, and there's a guy with his, I guess, shop mechanic, we'll call him, that he rents out one of those farm buildings, and he kind of does a fix and repair business for tractors and stuff. We'd like to bring that 806 up there, since we've had such issues with it, and have them kind of overhaul the engine, overhaul the hydraulics, and the mechanical kind of sort of things. But it'll be kept, same. We won't paint it. It won't be a full restoration. It'll just be mechanical restoration, is what they would call that, I do believe. So I'm hoping that gets sent off so that we can, we usually run that one on the cutter, and we've been putting the 706 on the cutter, but the 706 is such a gas hog that it kind of is annoying to run the cutter on the 706 because it burns through basically a tank of fuel in a day, not even a day. So that would be where it would be kind of nice to have a second machine to cut with, which would be Marty the M and a hay bine, and I'd like to get an International 990 hay bine. But whether we do or not is, another question. So it's kind of, we'll see what happens, see what comes of it. It's just kind of a play by ear. Like you say, if the M diesel doesn't get fixed, then the Marty the M is going to get put on baler duty, and we won't get it a hay bine. But if the M diesel gets fixed, the M will need Marty the M will need something to occupy his time too. So it's a lot of things are up in the air right now about what's going to happen for next year, and whether we'll have a need for 2 machines cutting. We may downsize our farm a little bit here, get rid of some animals, because we're likely gonna run out of feed this winter, which is not a good thing. Not a good thing to have happen. So we'll see. We got some. I don't remember if I farm updated this or not, but this past fall we planted some winter rye, and it would be nice to have, or we would like to put the cattle out on that winter rye that grew up this fall, because we don't have enough hay. We've pretty much figured that we aren't going to have enough hay if we don't either get rid of animals, buy in hay, or put them on some ground that they can kind of pasture, which is being made difficult by the snow. But if the snow melts away, they can get out onto the onto that ryegrass and eat that stuff up. But it's the same thing with these tractors. It's all a play it by ear kind of sort of thing. It's questionative of what's going to happen. So hopefully everything goes down well. I still got to get the governor fixed for Marty as it is. He's got some governor issues. There's one I knew of, the hole on the backside for the shaft that runs from your throttle control, the operator input, I guess we'll say. I knew that hole it's been egg shaped out and needs to be kind of redone, but it likely won't be because I think my housing is going to be junk. The bearing that's on the front side of the housing has at some point must have lost oil feed to it, and it spun in the housing, and I think wore out the housing. We had the same issue with Cushing, and so whether I'll be able to use either the bearing or the housing is bad, and I think it's likely the housing, because I think the housing is a softer metal than the bearing is. So it's that's kind of a bummer. I wasn't expecting that, and kind of was bummed to find that out. But it kind of explains why he would stay idled after you first started him for a little bit, but after running a little bit, it would kind of it would still stay at an idle, but it was a higher idle. It idled up. And I think what was happening is that bearing would slide out of the front of the governor, and that moved the shaft, pushing it up. It changed all the linkages inside and would throttle up the tractor. So it's kind of a bummer that we found that out. But luckily, there's plenty of parts, for these tractors. Plenty of parts tractors around, so we'll be able to find. Excuse me again. We'll be able to find another housing to fix that up. I know we went through this earlier. For those of you that have been around for a while, I know we went through this earlier, but want to get the other guys up to date that have joined us here recently, and we might depending on what time it is. It is 3 o'clock. I'm going to check the fire here real quick. We might move into the pickup truck so I can charge my phone and have my lunch maybe too. It's not burning the greatest, but I'm getting cold and I want to go somewhere else. So we're going to go into the pickup truck. Put my hat on. Maybe. There we go. You guys will get to meet the dog now too. We'll get to show you guys the new puppy. Let's get out of here. That's a noise. And we'll go sit in the truck. Get that warming going. But yeah, this is the scenery we've got going on. There's Rosie 806, our hay rake. There's our cutter. There's Cushing over there. Not a lot has happened with Cushing. Not a lot has happened with a lot of stuff out here, really. Let's see, is he sleeping? No, he's not sleeping. Well, he's laying in a really goofy way. Let me get the truck started and get some heat going here. There he is. There's the puppy. And he's, uh-oh. Hold on. Can you guys still hear me? Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Let me do something quick. Oops. No. That's not what I want. Nope. Alright. There we go. Alright, we're back. Hopefully you heard me there for that second, but when I started my truck up, it connected to the truck's Bluetooth, and I'm not sure if it was running through it or not, but I'm gonna pull this thing back off. But yeah, there's Mr. Cooper. He's been around for a couple weeks now. 4 weeks I think I've had him. He's a lazy bum. He just sits back there all day and sleeps. But yeah, let me get out I need my charging mechanism here, because the phone is trying to die. Alright. I think I'm charging. I should be plugged in. Hopefully I am. But yeah, there we go. Get some sun out of the face too so you guys can see me. So yeah, we'll sit in here and warm up for a little bit and eat my lunch. I got my lunch box back here with Cooper. I have my lunch, but I'll do that after I end the live stream. So we'll probably won't be here much longer, but yeah, not a lot is going on. There's all the snow back there. Lots of projects is basically what I see. We got Cushing, that's a project. The 806 is, this one back here is sort of a project. It's not really, but it's the other one that's up there. That's the project tractor. That one there. That's the one that needs to go to the tractor fixer person, whatever you want to call him. He needs to look at that because we got all that hydraulic trouble and don't feel like dealing with that. I don't. So. But anyways, I guess since we've kind of lost our following again, sort of, and we've already gone on for an hour and 40 minutes, almost 2 hours. I think we're gonna call it quits because I'm getting hungry. My stomach's been growling, so I think we'll call it quits. So I guess thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you guys coming on and chatting with us and making these live streams worthwhile. I know it's not always, a lot of times I don't always do them in the most feasible time for everybody, but I try to give a little bit of a heads up, but sometimes they're just kind of spontaneous. I just kind of decide, hey, why don't we do a live stream sort of thing, and we do a live stream. So, but anyways, I think we're gonna call it quits now for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live stream. Yeah, you too. Everybody have a good weekend. And those of you that have to deal with the snow, hopefully don't have to deal with it too much. Yeah, do that, Icon. Send me an email when you get the chance. We'll have to... I'd be interested to hear what you had to deal with. I know the spammers on these live streams are terrible. They're always... you always get them, and they're always never any fun, but it's just a part of life, I guess. You just got to deal with them all. But anyways, thanks for watching, you guys, and see y'all later, I guess.